Wilmington, like many cities in our region, has a problem with abandoned housing and blight throughout many neighborhoods. First person this week welcomes Wilmington City Council President Theo Gregory. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
So you were at Harvard last week for a conference sponsored by the Community Progress Leadership Institute.
That's correct.
I understand there were leaders representing many states like Mississippi, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, West Virginia, leaders representing cities in those states. Pretty much tell me your experience.
We had about 8 different cities there from various sizes. Wilmington was the smallest. We had a lecture consisting of about 30 people, and we also had small sessions with other cities, and we had small sessions within ourselves. So it was a real good experience to get to know people, to experience what people have the same problems we have. So it was really nice to do. And we got the group that we sent up there got to bond a little bit also and got to know one another.
That's good. Did anything stand out? Did you learn anything in particular from maybe someone in Wisconsin or West Virginia?
Well, the one that I liked the best, they had one on leadership, making a distinction between leadership and authority, and the challenges is in addressing blight in that regard, whether you're going to be a leader in addressing blight with a vision, or whether you're going to use your authoritative tools that you have on the books to address blight. So it was 2 different things. That stood out the most for me.
Tell me, is Wilmington, I guess when you think of Wilmington, is the housing problem here unique to this city?
No, but we're in better shape than every other city that was there. Now that's easy to say when you compare us to Detroit, because obviously Detroit is a mess. But there are some other cities there you would have thought would have been in better shape than Wilmington. But Wilmington is in excellent shape when it comes to addressing its blight problem, and that's because every mayor, since I've been affiliated or associated with the city, has really done a good job of addressing the housing needs in the city of Wilmington. So we were unique in the sense that we are better off than most cities.
Well, what have we tried in the past?
Well, what we've done in the past, I remember under Jane Vincent, when she was director of real estate and housing, there was a strategy we put in place in terms of how do we get the best bang for our buck. In other words, do we go in and we look at blight and 1 or 2 houses in a block, or do we go 5 houses in a block, or do we go a more massive area? The thinking was, if you do 1 house, you may not have an impact on that community, but some communities, if you do 1 house, you have an impact. So what we were trying to do was look at, in the past, how do we get the best impact for the houses that we do address?
Obviously, there are challenges. Challenges come into play. Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, actually, what's taking place is, with respect to our vacant properties, one of the biggest challenges is air property. In certain parts of the city, when people die, the properties tend to sit there. It's hard to get title or to find out who the property should pass to, and therefore we have a difficulty addressing those properties. There's another area that's very interesting and unique in our challenges, and that is when mortgage companies foreclose, they don't go all the way and cause the deed to go to their name, so the property sits there in limbo. We'll continue to send notices to the previous homeowner, and the previous homeowner comes in and say, I don't own that property anymore.
Okay.
But we're trying to hold them accountable. So we need to do something to ensure that the law says that mortgage companies, once you foreclose, you can't just let the property sit there. You've got to transfer it to your name, and then we can hold you accountable.
So you guys are definitely working on that.
We're working on that. Jeff Stark and I met yesterday. Sophia Hansen, who kind of led the team going up there, she's already sent out the notes for us to vet, and we have a luncheon scheduled for next week. So we're moving forward.
Yeah, you have to keep us posted on that.
We will do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, since I have you here, I would like to bring up the property tax increase.
Sure.
I know the mayor pretty much talked about it's necessary in order to keep city services. What's your opinion?
If you think about the trend, most mayors will increase property taxes at least 1 time during their 4-year term. It's basically a cost of living adjustment, in my opinion. What drives ours is personnel matters and health and welfare. Our vendors and our employees, step increases, and a lot of things along of that nature. So you have to have a property tax increase. The 9.9%, I think, is a base It's a starting point. We have to vet the budget. We have to make sure we're making cuts where we can make cuts. We're being responsible. But I think that 9.9% is a good place to start. And we may go down, we may go a little up, but I think it's a good place to start.
So obviously it's not set in stone, but it's something that...
It's not set in stone. That's my voice as the president. I have 12 other people that I have to answer to.
Okay. All right. And as far as well, outside of the property tax increase, where are we with the new search for a new police chief?
Well, I think about 2 weeks ago we started our national search. Bobby Cummins is there now as the interim or the acting chief. I know the mayor has convened a 5-member board. I believe the process requires that he have police chiefs from 5 other jurisdictions in the state of Delaware. They'll get the applications and they will go through them and make a recommendation to the mayor as to who he should or should not hire. I'm a fan of Bobby Cummins. So I'm going to put a plug in for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't have to go outside the state to get anyone. Hopefully Bobby Cummins will end up being our police chief. But I'm not trying to tell Mayor Williams who should have as chief. He's made that very clear. He's going to make that decision. But I want to put a plug in for Bobby.
Theo Gregory, Wilmington City Council President, thank you for being a part of First Person as always. Click on the box on the upper right of newsworks.org/Delaware to watch this interview again.